as we're loading into map number 1. On the red side, Kazna is going to be defending first, and they will be bringing 1-2 mouse, a 113, an object 430, Batchat, a T100. I love seeing those these days. The UDES, and that seems like a decent solid lineup. Against that, we've got a nice 3 113s, E50, Batchat, T100, and artillery with Monty.
Not a very different start, I'd say, from NSS from what we have seen from them before. Kazna, though, putting Kaizu, I think, in that object 430 already towards that C0 position to cover that off. Using the climbing in the meantime in the UDES, something we've seen from Ding as well, with Haiba on the lower side. So NSS going for their kind of standard opening, but Kazna crew, at least in the beginning, trying to counteract that.
Yeah, and I like this. Nice aggressive, it sets the tempo. It forces NSS to kind of decide, all right, what are we going to do based off of this action, as opposed to, all right, we're on track. Right now, they're not exactly on track. Nothing's outside of their wheelhouse right now. And we're going to see Monty, actually, looks like he's moving up, trying to reposition. They're going to try and keep him close to the rest of the herd. While Stefan, is he going to be able to, is he going to jump off of A2 and maybe come around and flank?
I think for now, he's going to be keeping his position at the very least, making sure that he has control over that. With everybody being spotted from the NSS side, though, he will do exactly what you said. Come off of that one, perhaps relocate himself to get maybe that already, but he needs to take it careful, though, because now we see Just Cause peeling away from this fight over here. Now, Stefan, we know the kind of player he is, should be doing fine, and should maybe get an angle on towards the side of Just Cause, but he still needs to be careful, obviously.
I like this stuff, and by the way, on the west side of the map, peeks up and out, just so that he can see Just Cause, who are just trying to follow there, and is able to actually kind of force him to focus on Stefan, and gets a few shells in there. That's really nice there for NSS. They should be able to kind of push forward and maybe take something out that could turn into a crazy brawl here.
Well, the mouses from Kazna crew are making their way forward. They are starting to take a lot of damage, but now they have gotten to the fight. The HP has almost equaled, though. The first mouse to speak around the corner, Diplomat, Fetzo making the damage towards Coca-Cola. But if this is the push that Kazna crew is looking for, I'm not so sure. These mouses, they're starting to bleed a lot. These 113s are both ammo-rack, though, which is a very important factor.
And on top of that, look at this. 2 tanks from NSS are chasing off that T100 from Kazna on the west side. So as far as numbers, that really helps out Kazna's, and if they're going to be able to make something happen in this brawl. Although right now they've got, oh, there for them, Durs goes down.
And it says, I don't think they can hold this. I mean, all the HP right now is on Shotnik, Nitin. Beowulf is about to go down here against the 2 mouses from Kazna crew. Haiba takes another artillery hit, not enough to finish him off as he remains on 2 HP. But Beowulf, he's left alone. He's left against the wolves from Kazna crew. Haiba picks it up, and that will be 3 versus 5. Kazna crew battered and bruised, but in this one, and don't forget, Yizn in the UDES is still on that position. We kind of forgot about him even.
Oh yeah, up top. He's actually dealt a decent amount of damage, almost 1,000 this battle so far. And he's going to stay up top. He's relatively delicate right now. He's taking a lot of damage, but we'll see if anything comes of that.
Randall, now, let's slow down this fight, right?
All right.
There's still a possibility here for NSS, I would say, at the very least. The thing is, what I want to mention is...
2,000 to about 3,900.
Not even the HP. I would take away the HP,
right,
but talk about the mobility that NSS has available towards them. They have the E50, they have the T100 Light, they have the RT as well. They could make that work against this lineup. Haiba, a quick tank, low HP. Kaizu, a 2-shot. They can make this mobility work for them.
You're right, absolutely right. I wasn't thinking about it as much. The mouse, even though you have 3 mouse, right? That's not really that useful right now. You can't really attack. You can roll around a bit, but yeah, you're right. The E50, the T100, they should be able to kite as much as possible. But look at Monty's position, right? If the mouse from Kazna, the 3 of those, decide to press up, he doesn't exactly have a decent escape.
I don't think they can press. Shotnik, and another shot on towards Diplomat. I don't think they can press, that's the thing. Because the only one they can realistically send is Fetzo by himself in that mouse, while the others would have to cover. And if Nidin and Shotnik is going to get with the E50M, with that heal, he's going to give him at least 2 shots on the way.
You're right.
There we go. That's the first one. RD will come in, making him even lower. I don't think this is really going to be the trades that they're looking for, but they're going to try though. Shotnik puts in the first, puts in the second.
On
now
T100.
He's getting flanked though. But there we go. Nidin picks up Haiba.
Yep, I was going to say the T100 just in backfield has jumped himself up on some high ground and is going to start kind of snipe covering. In the same time, Monty as well just fires. And that's, what is that, about 300? Was that about 300 damage right there?
Yeah, I'd say something like that.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Now has 7 HP left. This is still not over, I'd say. I mean...
Oh, this can go either way still. E50 is off the battlefield, sure.
I think this should be the end of it, though. Nidin gets spotted in the open. First shot comes out. No connection there from Kaiser. Needs to be careful. This T100 light tank super quick. You can see it driving across. Gets engine damage. Quickly repairs that one. Kaiser might get one more shot before Nidin's in the clear, but he dips down low. He needs to be careful, though, because RT's reloaded in 2 seconds. If he can give a disastrous blow on towards Kaizu, 474 is what I'm talking about. Puts him into the one-shot range.
Now we need to see that T100 come in and finish him off with one or two more shells should do it. But he needs to get that damage in. Artie should stay alive, and if you can do that, that's where a win happens. But if not...
Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot coming out from Nidin. He's spotted though, but the mouse Vetso, he doesn't know whether to push forward or to pull back because Monty's still alive. That position is actually working in their favor now. They want to kill this Artie, but they can't go for the Artie.
Oh, that's painful. Oh, here we go. There's the right play. You've got
Monty's reloaded in 3 seconds.
Oh, he is. He may be able to shock it, but is he looking the right way is the question.
We'll have to find out. There comes the first shot from Kaizu on towards
Monty.
And he does! He picks it up! And this again, Monty should be kind of safe in this area. Another beautiful shot coming out from Nidin for 261 on towards Vetso. And Kazna crew, what it was a one round is now becoming closer and closer. They need to be careful because this is not the way to close out a steps round.
Oh, no, it's not. Kazna should have had this minutes ago. This should have been done 5 minutes into the battle.
Vetso's gonna die to Monty. 12 seconds left. If Nidin gets a spot, Monty will surely try to finish him. This RT is now paying dividend. Usually in a match with 7 versus 7, he doesn't get to do it so much, but it was 3 versus 3 rather quickly. Vetso is kind of safe, but Nidin, he's working that mobility we talked about.
Yep, he's gonna move around, try and find the flank. You see a little pinging on the mini-map, by the way. And shot out, not quite gonna connect. It hurts, just not enough.
He still has time to work with though. Because of the relay from Monty, 29 seconds left now. Nidin trying to get that underplate. Obviously, that T100 light tank dispersion, not the greatest on that light.
It's definitely not a sniper.
No, it's not a sniper whatsoever, but the spots, this is just, you know, the mouse, he can't see this light tank. He's literally trying to find a needle in a haystack. I mean...
Yeah, it is, I do appreciate seeing a light tank understand distances and spotting well enough to know exactly how far he should be in order to be, you know, safe. And that's something to pay attention to because you want to stay outside of their range, inside yours. Yeah. It sounds fairly obvious, but it's something that a lot of scouts don't think about. They'll end up kind of crossing into 300 meters, 200 meters of their opponent for the spot when they really should hold that damage.
Look at this though, Diplomat pushing up now as well. This gives Nidin the information he needs to maybe make a play. He's going around again. Monty spotted out, so is Diplomat. Nidin knows where 2 out of the 3 remaining Kazna crew players are. And if he can get the first one, he might be able to save him.
Yeah, 2 minutes left though. 2 minutes.
Keep this into account though.
Where's Isne?
If no matter where Isne is, he's in a T100 light tank. He can climb anywhere.
Well, it's the fact that can he get up to the top where Isne is over in the northeast? Can he get there in time? He can get the kill.
He can get the kill, but he just got the first one on towards Vetso. Yeah. Now he's going to chase down Diplomat, and then he just needs RT. Monty, if he survives here, he doesn't though. Diplomat picks it up, but now Nidin, multi-kill, picks up Diplomat, 1v1.
Yeah, he's a minute and 20 seconds now to go find.
He has time to climb this. He knows both climbs. We have seen him do it.
Yeah, absolutely, but now we have to see him do it. And we have to see the UDES not stop him. Like Isne has options, doesn't he? Isne can try to peek over, find the angle, watch the approach, and counter out. Because how many hit points? 504. That's 2 shells, right? I don't think there's a high roll that.
No. He's gonna be
definitely 2. Definitely 2.
Yeah. Is lining up the climb. We have seen him do it before. Can he make it quickly though? He's spotted that he knows that Isne is up there. He's lining it up. Can he do it? No, he fails.
See, that's what...
Ooh, he takes 445! And I think Kazna saw that as well.
Yeah, he saw that. He was lit. He knows. He absolutely knows. So now he knows he can just pop on back, run. 59 hit points, if you ram into the UDES, that might be enough that you just kill yourself. So he has to play careful.
Solid climb, but he needs to be quickly. He's reversing to save some time as well. Turns around now, 20 seconds. I don't think he's going to be making this one. 18 left on the clock now. Nidin needs to get there rather quickly. Isne, he's hiding all the way in the back. It's all he has to do.
He knows. You see, this is what I was talking about. It doesn't matter. You can make it there in time, but that one missed jump, That just ended it right there for NSS, and this is great for Kazna to start out. Although I don't think this is exactly the win they wanted, and that's it. That's it, the timer's out.
That was rather close, I'd say. Kazna crew, they're pushing in. I don't know if it was really worth it anymore at one point. I mean, when they sacrificed a lot of HP against Shotnik, that was fine. Killing Shotnik was a good move, but then continuing onwards. Kaizu trying to go for the RD. I feel like that was over-eagerness, and definitely at that point in time, not worth it anymore.
Yeah, and I think there was a lack of coordination that I saw as well. It seemed like the Kazna guys should have pressed all about the same time, so that when artillery fires, they don't have to. They're not sitting there still searching until he's reloaded to get the kill.
They came in one by one, to be honest.
They made it easy for NSS. Now, credit to NSS. We saw Nadine. He did an excellent job of kiting around, being mobile, trying to play the vision game. And that's
we talked about it.
Yeah,
coming to show, but
yeah,
I like what Diplomat did there though. Killing off Monty is a thing many people would wonder. Why doesn't he do one shot of damage to Nadine, make him one shot for the Udes? Well, there's two things there, right? Cap is always a thing with two tanks.
Yes.
Would force Isna into the open, but Nadine climbing and then RT.
And then RE could get the spot, get the splash, and
Yep.
with the UDES, he doesn't exactly have the armor that.
Yeah, he would take a lot of damage rather quickly.
M4043 is hurt a lot. Now looking at the post-game stats, you're going to see this is something to watch. Look at that. There's a lot of Kazna players not dealing nearly as much damage as the NSS guys.
And even Kazna almost losing that fight with the fact that two of the tanks from NSS were Amoracked, if you take that into account.
That's a good point as well. But did they use their kits or were they?
No, they were Amoracked when the mouses pushed in, I think. I saw them come in and I saw two of the 113s being Amoracked, so...
Now I'm sitting back wondering. I didn't check to see if they had large repair kits, but the thing is, with a large repair kit, it's on a timer. You could have dealt with the ammo rack.
Yeah, it's 90 seconds, so they might have used it before.
And with 90 seconds, the thing about it in this format is like with 10 minutes, 90 seconds means we'll just wait for batch heads to reload, right?
Exactly.
And you're fine.
But now, getting into the second round here, Kazna versus NSS. Kazna currently 1-0. Gonna be attacking NSS, gonna be defending. Monty, solid climb. That's what we expect.
Yeah, makes it the first time. That's what you want. And of course, that's the little easier climb. The one from the south on the 0 line is quite a bit trickier.
Kazna crew did not send the light tank aggressive.
Yeah, nothing on the west side, leaving it completely open.
This is different from what I've seen. That's what I asked you about. Why does Kazna not use the light tank? Why do they decide to just believe they can clear it out without actually...
It's a risky play. Because,
I agree.
Yeah, there's a ton of mobility, vision, camo that you're losing out on. Now, maybe you're making that up with hit points. No, doesn't feel like it. Because you're bringing S-Tank, you're bringing GW Tiger P.
It has the biggest splash.
It does.
The biggest splashes.
Yeah, but as far as a profile, hiding it and its mobility, I tend to like something that can move a little bit. Because depending on the time, when it is in the match, or the battle, I should say, you might want to actually get out of your initial spots. Like, that's why I like French artillery. Faster firing, maybe the arc's not so great.
It doesn't work so well against mouses.
I think that's the main point, is the mouse meta really makes it so mobile RD isn't so effective.
Now, you can see Kazna still thinks there's somebody on that A2 position. Isna targeting the map on towards A1. We can obviously see that on our screens. So Isna targeted A1. Now, NSS trying to blind fire the possible climb coming out from Kazna crew. So when does Kazna realize there's nobody up there?
Yeah,
with two light tanks, it's hard to tell, obviously.
Well, we'll have to give them a minute to see if they're going to decide to do anything off of this. They're getting plenty of vision, plenty of spotting, right? And it goes both ways, but I think the next thing we'll see come into play is possibly some artillery splash. So if Isne gets a connection on anything, that might force NSS to maybe put their heads down a little more, and that opens the window for the jump we've been talking about. And if that happens, then we're getting more and more interesting, aren't we, Doggy? We're getting into a crazy place where we've got plenty of sniping going on, although it's Object 40 batchat sniping. Say what you will about the effectiveness there.
I think Kazna realized. I mean, Stefan going this aggressive kind of says they know there's nobody on A1, because otherwise he'd be spotted right now.
Fair enough, yeah.
There's only one position to sit safe, and then Stefan would spot it from there. So.
Yeah, informed decisions. But you can see that UDES, Monty up top, was able to sink one into Stefan.
Nice shot there from that UDES.
Hey.
That's what you pick it for.
Yeah.
There's obviously one thing to keep into account when playing a position like this. With we all know about render.
Render range, max render distance.
Max render, right? So
yeah.
you have your view range until which you can see tanks. You have render ranges up until where they...
how far the game will actually display a tank, and then beyond that...
You have where the shell disappears.
Exactly. Then it varies based on certain tanks.
I think it's like 600 meters.
So my understanding is that actually first you should look at the shell, because depending on the gun, the shell might just automatically drop off at...
I'm talking about when the RU was played at, it was like 600 meters.
Oh, okay. I think that, yeah, that's about right. It's something like that. They just kind of vanish after a certain amount of time, so you can't just spam across the map.
In the meantime, though, Kaizu drove onto the cap, got spotted. They do not know one thing, and one thing alone is Nidin. They did not spot him. He's using one of those spotting positions that not a lot of teams get away with using. And Kazna crew, it doesn't seem aware. It's costed them about half of the STRV. The STRV pick makes a lot of sense now, obviously, because you pick the STRV. Why? Because some of the tanks will actually auto-bounce it.
Yeah,
so, blind fire.
That's exactly what to watch for.
Although I'm not a fan of that, because you see the shell bounce. If you hit something on the cap and it bounces, even if you can't see it, you will see the shell go up.
Most of the time. A lot of that also dependent on your render ranges and your game settings. Whether or not you'll see certain shells bounce, or if you'll see a splash, you hitting dirt, depending on the range there. Always something to pay attention to. And that's what these guys... Nice shot.
Nice Monty again coming out there. And
although
Nidin, how much... It's not Nidin spotting right now. He has 808 spotting damage, so it's a combination of Nidin and I think one of the mouses spotting from their position as well. So it's not just Nidin, it's also the position of the mouses from NSS that's really crucial coming out. Kaizu still sitting in this cap, but how much is this going to work out for them? This is obvious that, you know, Nidin knows that it's the only position he can't spot when the bush is in the way.
Yeah, he knows that, but if... Correct me if I'm wrong. They're getting closer, but correct me if I'm wrong. But there are technically a few spots beyond that he could be in, that he could sneak into, because he's got a camo net.
When Nidin with binos, well, his camo net wouldn't activate until he goes into siege mode, though.
Yeah, sorry, good point. Yeah, he could sneak in at least from one angle. Yeah. Sorry, excuse me. I was forgetting my order of operations there.
It's okay. But now, Enzo joining onto the cap.
That should sink it. That's got it right there. There's no artillery on the other side. Kazna doesn't have... NSS doesn't have anything to deal with this.
Have they bled too much HP though? NSS is about 3,500 up right now. Kazna crew, 22 seconds left, is on the base capture. Beowulf pushing forward. Somebody's going to have to get a reset because Vetso is covering Kaizu rather well in that STRV. 15 seconds left, NSS, you got to react and you got to do it right now. They're going to be sending Nidin forward, just cause on the side as well.
I think Nidin might be the one to have the connecting shot. He's just got to put it just in the back.
Yeah, just needs to keep going though, but there we go. HC actually comes out. It's the reset from the mouse, from Coca-Cola, if I'm not wrong. They're going to lose Nidin. They're going to lose Just Cause as well. But Kazna crew, they've wasted a lot of time, and it's not even the game.
Yeah, this looks like it's just about over. Hey,
how is he alive?
It should be over, but we can't. NSS needs to not get too aggressive. They could throw this one away.
He's going to kill Kaizu.
Okay, there we go.
That's just unacceptable from the side of Kazna crew, letting Nidin sneak in behind enemy lines. He almost got a second. Haiba, Vetso falling in quick succession.
It's dominoes here. It's dominoes now. You've got a few tanks left alive. Diplomat's been doing fine.
The Chaos.
He's dealing plenty of damage.
Yeah, but
just not enough.
Not enough.
Yeah, it's like a 140 is a great damage dealer, but it can't be your top damage dealer.
They needed something else.
Yeah.
But sacrificing a mouse in the cap that removes one of your damage dealer. I like the amount of chaos that both Just Cause and Nidin caused in their T100 light tanks, going both at the same time. Catching Kazna unaware that they might be sending both at the same time, don't know who to focus. Nidin makes it in behind enemy lines and kills the STRV. Now, if you're Kazna crew, that is unacceptable.
You're raging right then, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, how did this happen?
If you're the STRV, you're sitting there, kill him!
Yeah. Because you know that's what needs to happen. But then, of course, Mouse comes in from the south and sinks a shell to reset, right?
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of the strat. Make them look at the big shiny light tanks. Hey, look, they're scared.
Yeah,
they're coming in
but
close.
the others do the damage and do the resets preferably.
It's good teamwork right there. It's just good coordination. It's what you need to do. It's hard to deal with, too. Because when you're presented with an obvious target that is an imminent threat, but you know there's something else lurking when you decide to deal with it, it's two bad choices.
And it says, finding Stefan as well, puts it into a 6v3 now. This is not something that is going to work out rather well for the side of Kazna. With an RT as well, where Monty's in the Udes.
They're holding on for a hero.
they're gonna need more than a hero. They're gonna need like the entire Superman, the entire
Justice
DC
League.
Comics universe,
Yeah,
the Marvel universe for that matter.
Calling some backup. Yeah, then they'll need a little bit. Now, we've got, that's Dirt's moving in against, we've got 50M from Shotnik and Just Cause, but that's not gonna last very long.
That's shut down rather quickly.
And now
Isna.
Oh, is he gonna sling one out there? Maybe he'll get a connection. I bet he'd love to get a connection on Just Cause.
Ooh, 324, close but no cigar for Isna. You see Just Cause, he wants that RT. He's going, he repaired everything going for that one. It's another funny thing that made our team more viable now. We haven't actually, nobody actually spoke about that. I think even on the desk, the alternate artillery view, it actually, for a map like Himmelsdorf, you can sneak shells through the windows because of that view.
Yeah, I've found it useful on every map because you get to understand how the slope
in your... so many on Himmelsdorf now, even from the attacking side, because they can sneak those shells in between the buildings, through the windows. I don't think we actually mentioned it whatsoever.
It almost never comes up. Yeah, actually, you're right. It's one of those things that we take for granted, I think, very, very quickly. And a lot of RD players are probably really enjoying that new feature. Now, that's going to be in first one for NSS. Ties it up, start this one off. And
strong win from NSS, really.
Yeah.
Last round, super close. Strong win now. Momentum-wise, they're ahead.
Yeah, Kazna's battle won. Yes, it was a win, but it was on time.
It was a hard win as well. Yeah. And this is a hard reset again because they came off of a very, very close win where they had to work for a lot. NSS, arguably on their attack, was okay with giving that away, but they made Kazna crew work for it. Strong win now.
Yeah, NSS probably isn't feeling like they were too cheated or anything. They felt like they're probably sitting there going, we didn't do it fast enough.
We did what I think we did what we were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Pick our defense.
Yeah, and NSS probably doesn't feel too bad. So Kazna's probably not sitting in a great spot right now. The rest of the series is going to be dependent on can they stay focused and
yeah, but say Steps defense is the easier side right now with the climbs if you do it right.
Yeah.
And they struggled to win that one. Well, you could see NSS, the dominance they showed on their defense. Let's just say it wasn't really close. The only reason they lost a lot of HP is because Kazna did an all-in cap play.
Yeah, the contrast is certainly there. So favor all the way to NSS right now. They look like they're going to be leading in the series.
Display right here.
This is fun. Although
this is what I like from Nidin. He decides to ignore the damage he could do on the mouse, kills off the STRV.
It's the focus you want to go for, because if you don't kill the STRV, you kill the mouse. Now there's just a tank wreck and an STRV behind it. So what's
more? If you kill the STRV, then
there's just a mouse out there, and the mouse no longer feels like he has much of a purpose.
He's gonna die anyways.
Yeah, he's sitting there like, I was protecting him. Now what do I do? And then everything falls apart. Yeah. So as we get into the next one, what map are we moving into is the big question here.
You tell me, Randall.
So, to fully honesty here is because of the way we run around, we don't get to see the map picks until we're dropping back here. So, we'll find out. I guess it'll be a fun surprise for everyone. And then, but in the meantime, NSS. Do you still feel like you can hold on to that 7-3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few maps where you can always see NSS pulling ahead. I think Ruinberg will be one of those maps to begin with. Ghostan is obviously one of those as well, but it's obviously been banned out, so we're not going to be seeing that one. But I think Prokhorovka, for example, which is the tiebreaker as well, is a map where NSS could pull a 2-0. Kazna's been doing well on Prokhorovka, but NSS, like the way they play, like we just saw, which is a little bit of chaos from time to time, but like organized chaos, good chaos. Yeah. So it is really, really good, really solid. Here are the maps once more.
Thank you so much to our
we're going to be going on to Mainz. Mainz is actually a map I could maybe see. I think Kazna will pick up at least one round on Mainz, right? I do not believe they're going to be a team that throws away their defense. But
I don't think I agree, dude. It's Mainz, and we both know how that feels. When you're defending on Mainz, the map has been the way it is for so long. Even with the variances added by the jumps and the boosts, you still do have a solid defense, right?
Oops got 2 bad shots on the 0 line. It was not enough to break them.
Yeah, and honestly, I think 1 is most of the time more appropriate. Putting 2 up there, that's a resource that you can
It's a security factor, though.
It is, but I feel like that resource could be better used elsewhere.
You can always like try to get him off afterwards. Because the thing is, what makes it sort of valuable is the fact if the first one doesn't make it or gets really damaged.
Yeah.
You have to imagine if the first one gets really damaged down to a 1-shot, you would have have to send another one, which would then have the same fate. Now, if you send two, one of them might get really damaged, but the other one will be on high HP.
The what is it? The two people crossing a window kind of a mentality there. Yeah, I see that one. But yeah, I'm always going to sit there and yes, that's valuable, but what about the time that he could have spent on the west side of the map, maybe clearing water? I'll point back to, you were watching the Elevate match earlier. We saw Dodoma go over to the southwest. We had a tank up on the 0 line, and it theoretically play with that scenario and say, okay, what if that tank in the west is not there? And it's actually on the 0. But
then you've got to argue as well that tank in the west should have arguably never made it. With the positions from the defender coming out, he needs to take at least 2 shots on the crossing. The T100 light tank, the Doma would be like 600 HP then the T100 light tank kills him one-on-one.
Yeah, but that sounds like every commander in a defense of mines. Every commander's like, they shouldn't have been allowed to get through. They shouldn't have been allowed to make the jump. You can't just stop them. And if you're aggressive enough on mines, you're going to take a position. That's kind of what's nice about mines. If you decide to just throw 3 or 4 tanks down a lane, you'll make it at least halfway before you're stalled out. And sometimes it works out, most of the time it doesn't, if you just kind of do it, without enough focus, but you know what I'm talking about.
At least Kazna crew so far is looking hopeful. I'll forget about the last round. I'll think about the first one where up until, the last 2 minutes of it, pretty much. They looked okay. They were making some decisive moves, not really sitting back, waiting for NSS, trying to take the fight to them.
They didn't seem too timid. They didn't seem like they weren't giving.
I don't think the way to beat NSS is to play timid. The way they can play aggressive and the way they've shown us to break stuff, I think if you sit back and let them do what they want to do.
Tempo. Yeah. It's all about tempo, right? You can't sit there and let someone else tell you how the battle's going to go down and then you have to sit there and answer their questions, right? You have to sit there and go,
they have all the information they want and they make their play. And unless your play is equally strong, usually the one that gets to get all the information, assess the information, then react towards the information, gets to have the better play. And I definitely feel like that would be NSS.
Yeah, they do seem to be a little bit quicker right now, but that's not all the time. That's not every map, and it does come down to a lot of those little factors like, will the scout player make the right run? Will he play it just aggressively enough? Are the tank choices in line? Because very often I really feel like we talk about how important tank choices are, but then at the same time, sometimes I feel like almost universally everyone kind of just lets it kind of, I don't know.
Kind of depends. Like some teams always have their personal preference. Like they play the same tactic, but they just like this or this tank working out. Like Elevate with their Doom Turtle shot. It's kind of a standard tactic, but they decide to do it with the T95. Although I wasn't a fan of it.
I gotta be honest. Like it's when you bring out those weird tank choices. Like there's a reason that tank doesn't get chosen so much. It's not as optimal as some of the other choices that you really could bring. Like instead of a Doom Turtle, there are arguably more artillery. Okay, but you choose one of the options I don't favor.
It's been mainstream. It's starting to become mainstream though on Himmelsdorf now. We have seen RT.
Yeah, M4043s.
GW Tiger P mainly on the defense even.
That as well,
and
yeah.
the school bus on the attack. We saw it from Oops, we saw it from Eclipse.
I gotta say, I'm not a fan of the school bus. But I'm also...
You're not a fan of School Bus? It was a great team, though.
Oh, no, the team, I used to love those guys. The shirts they had, they were creative. They were driven. I miss School Bus, yeah. But now, about to get into mines. So let's focus back on this one a bit. Starting on attack, it looks like...
Kazna crew is going to be starting on the defense, and SS is going to be starting on the attack.
Okay.
So,
what do you? Yeah, that's nice for Kazna. That gives them a better place to get back into this series. Whereas
it is a nice place up until you lose that round, because then it puts you in the worst place. It's the best place to be in, starting on the defense on mines. But if you lose that one, I think it's much worse than.
Yeah, because now you're coming off a loss into the side that you probably don't prefer.
Yes.
Yeah.
It makes you look at to a 3-1, and then coming out with the maps after. Moravanka maybe. Kazna crew has been okay on Moravanka, although against Yato it was very.
That was
iffy. It was close. I feel like Yato had the advantage. Well, they picked up both Moravanka rounds, obviously, but in the tiebreaker, I'm talking about that one, because Kazna won the tiebreaker, obviously, on Moro. I feel like Yato even had the upper hand at a lot of stages, so...
Yeah.
Anything can happen in this series. I mean, it always depends on how I feel how the team styles match up.
Yeah, and with Kazna, I mean, oh, there's that coin you were actually talking about earlier.
He always has that one.
Yeah, is that specifically like any kind of coin, like one of the challenge coins of wargaming or something? Do you know?
I think just a poker chip.
You think it's just a poker chip?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because for a second it looked like one of the challenge coins that I've got here in my pocket.
I mean the ones that were given out in New York as well?
Yeah, those
I got
ones.
one of those.
Yeah, you got one. We use those for the coin flips when we were doing picks and bans. It was always fun to kind of like throw something fun into the mix. Players always had a little fun doing the picks and bans that way. And they got to see what heads and tails was, argue over what should be heads and tails. All of that. Oh, and look at that. That is calm, cool, and collected on the screen right there from NSS.
They have to be.
Yeah, he just looks so ready to go that he's just like, come on guys, countdown timer, let's just finish it. I want to go. It's time to beat Kazna.
If NSS wins this match, I want them to go to the final. They would deserve it as a team that's always been at those kind of events, but never made it to the final. They've always been the team, but never the one.
Yeah, they're on the short list this time to be the team that makes it to the grand finals of this. But yeah, most people will talk about Navi, although let's not get into that subject yet. And then after that, I mean, the group's pretty small. There's about 4 teams that most people were betting on, and then you're looking to see Kazna if they were to show up and blow up out of nowhere, elevate.
I'd give them like a
that.
3-1 odds though.
Yeah.
That was a bookie.
Yeah, I think that would be accurate. You definitely can't put much favor on some of these guys for going all the way, but it is really interesting to see how far they can go, because that's growth, that's change. Every single time we see Kazna, they're one of the teams that's had trouble being consistent, but if they can show that constant improvement, playing well in this match.
But I
would
feel
mean a
like we
lot.
keep saying that every single event
We
go
do,
through.
but it's because we hope that they'll do well. We like Kazna. Their
But at what
personality
point?
is fun.
What is the point where we stop looking at that potential they have, that we think they have, and just judge them on what they actually do?
I mean, you could do that forever. We could probably go for years based on these guys. If they keep the most of the roster together, I feel like I could get behind, supporting Kazna here and there, just when I watch them out, just winning here. Yes, tilting every so often and throwing matches away that they shouldn't, but there's some
There
charm
always seems
to
to
that.
be at that major event, it's the heartbreak story. Kazna crew coming to another event, big expectations, to then lose against the team they shouldn't lose again, losing a finals one time because of it, not getting into the grand finals, 2 finals because of that loss against E in the semis, and here missing the arguably weaker side of the bracket because
that performance earlier in the grand finals here is really reflected poorly on them, and it's taken my expectations, which were much higher, and I've definitely had to knock them down a peg.
I think I knocked them over.
You just were like, no.
I was like, before the tournament, I was like, semis for Kazna. Now I'm like, knock that pillar down, and we're not building another one.
They're not making it to semis, in your opinion. I mean, that's based on the expectations of this match. This is where the journey ends. But I'm always holding on for that underdog story. See if Kazna.
We all love a good underdog story, but Kazna, we can't call them underdogs anymore. That's the thing with their experience. Can you justify calling a team like Kazna Crew an underdog in the grand finals, where they have been so many times?
But we know they tend to fall short. We know it happens every time. We know they fall in the mud and they just have trouble getting back up and winning.
And they seem to enjoy it, and they roll around 2 or 3 times, and then the next time they're like, oh, I remember this mud, let me try it again.
Yes. I certainly see that. That's why we love Kazna. So
we love them because they lose?
No, we love them.
That's
We love them because they keep getting back up. Like that's why we watch sports, right? It's not because we want to watch a team sit here and completely dominate, right? If every battle was for, like, just hypothetically, Kazna just winning straight out, like 7-0, right? If it was 7-0s all the time, they wouldn't be interesting, because there's no challenge.
True.
But when Kazna goes up against opponents that just keep going at them, but they come back every single season, every single time, they do not stop. That's what makes me love Kazna. That's why they've got a following. That's why people like them, because they don't stop. A lot of other teams we've seen rise and fall, but been here 1 or 2 seasons, but the staying power hasn't been there for a lot of teams because of how stressful it can be to do this. And Kazna's one of how many that's still around from season 1, 2.
The only one remaining in the European region.
Exactly. In North America, we don't have almost anything.
Well, that's part of the region as well, though.
Yeah,
I mean, from what I've noticed, from like
it's a little more volatile, yes.
Yeah, a little bit more roster changes every season.
And then look at Russia. You've got Navi, but
Unchanged since 2014.
And they've changed quite a bit, but the team name is still there. The core.
Well, the last change was 2014 when Red Rush Unity joined. I think it was Red Rush they were called. Where Rhino, or they already called Navi. They could have already been called Navi. I think.
Oh, you're talking about that switch around.
Yeah, where Rhino and the Anatolic switched over, and the Lux and the Light stepped down. That was the change from 742 into 754. So it was Red Rush Unity and Navi, I think, at the time they were called. And that's the last swap.
Yeah,
since.
And they picked up that banner, they've run with it. Now, I think we've all become a little skeptical about them, but let's not get off the topic of Kazna and NSS here, because we're just now starting to load into mines, and just because we have a sneak peek, looking at the lineups, any expectations here, Daki?
Maybe some quick climbs coming out, but I think we're going to be seeing a similar start to what we saw with Ding. Sending the light onto the hill and then TVP behind to shoot.
And then of course, we need to break down the lineups for you guys on the side of Kazna. You're going to have a mouse, 2 bat chats. Looks like that's 2 E4s, T110 E4s, if I'm correct. T100 and an object 416 for the side of Kazna. The red team on the blue side, not serious. They're going to have 3 mouse, bat chat, TVP. Nice little German scout and M4043.
I like how we all decided not to pronounce the name and just to call it the German light.
It's like when they came out with the Rheinborstig Waffentrager.
Yeah.
Like most of us Americans are embarrassing to say it, like everyone else cringes. So we just called it the Waffle Tiger. I haven't figured out the nickname for this one yet.
So for the people just tuning in, it is Kazna versus NSS, currently 1-1. We've had 1 map, Steps, which ended up both teams picking up their defense. Now moving into mines. Obviously, Kazna is going to be on the defense first. Very heavy alpha setup, even if you want to talk about it like that. Not really HP-wise, because those Z4s, they don't have a ton of it, but it's a lot of alpha.
Yeah, if you poke your head up in the wrong spot, they're going to punish. But you bring up the right point, which is that because there's an M4043 running around, they need to watch out. The Z4s need to be careful, or else
especially Kaizuet in that position over there. By the Batchat, it is a counter we have seen. It's not the first time we see it. The Batchat waits there for those mouses to push down 8-9 line. I think it was Navi even with the Anatolic over there. They were waiting for this exact counter for those tanks to push down, and the Batchat peeks out, gives 5 shots, goes back safe. Now, if Monty smells this out, splashing on towards that position is disastrous for Batchats.
Fair enough. We'll have to see if anything comes of that. But let's talk a little bit about the opening move here from Not So Serious. So we've got high ground control. What's going on with Just Cause? I don't know what I think of that. Playing on the high ground of the mine, kind of exposing yourself quite a bit.
I'd be checking if somebody from Kazna crew made it on towards the 0 line by any chance. Maybe spotting out over a few buildings.
Just seeing what he can see.
There's really nobody that can punish him for that kind of play.
Yeah, it just felt kind of dangerous, I guess.
Maybe he just likes living in the danger zone.
He just can't stop, won't stop. Well, it looks like it's coming around for actually a second run up top there as 2 mouse from the side of NSS along with Coca-Cola making their way east. While Haiba is moving up just enough to get some spotting, but he's not quite close enough yet.
This is the kind of play we expect now, though, from the attacker. Sending 2 mouses, 8-9 line, but then continuous push 3-4 line as well. In the meantime, probably Coca-Cola is going to be trying to climb the 0 line and try and work it that way. If it's going to work, that is the question. I mean, it all really depends on the amount of damage they take, on the approach, the shooting in between. How will this Bacha do? What effect is Monty going to have before they make the play, or are they going to make the play without even caring about the idea?
Yeah, and then watch out for, of course, like sneaky counters, whether or not we can see anyone find that perfect angle, knowing where artillery probably is. And we've seen it before, like blind fire and fun stuff like that just kind of pops out and catches you off guard. I remember when we were seeing later in the season, people started to spot from Alpha 8,
I like
9.
Nadin's position here, though.
Oh, this
Look
one?
at it.
A mouse on the side of a mouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little unusual, but it makes sense.
That's it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a mouse. You just throw it out there and it just...
Shotnik?
It's hard to deal with. You can't just make it leave. You can't just treat it like a batch at a TVP, something like that. Shoot it once or twice, and all of a sudden he's at 2/3 of his hit points. A mouse is going to be able to bounce a few, take enough damage that he can just sit up there and be as annoying as he can. And yeah, I'm not exactly saying it's a great idea.
Coca-Cola lining up the zero-line climb here.
Always pay attention to the way they approach these.
He'll make it. Beowulf pushing towards the rock, also taking some damage. Coca-Cola, he did not have the angle that he needed, so he's going to be going back. That's a shame. That's a bummer. Really, it loses him some viable time. Talking about peeking your head, by the way, Shotnik peaked on that middle hill. Took about 750 from Vetso. So
that's what the E4s are here for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their purpose, and well, it works out. Now we can see Diplomat trying to snipe the corner of a turret there, but not quite able to find the angle yet. He's gonna hold a shot, and Artillery's gonna put one into Haiba in the meantime. And with that, Beowulf follows it up, tries to take what free damage he can, but not able to connect. And this is going to be a slow attack from Not So Serious.
Yeah, but Diplomat firing though, maybe on towards the Coca-Cola, who has now made it onto the climb, so zero line is a possibility here for the side of NSS. So far holding strong though. Nidin now pushed up a little bit as well in his mouse. Taking some damage, but all good so far.
I'll have to see. Wait, am I seeing a pull back there in the middle from Nadine? Is he actually leaving, it looks like? Or is he gonna decide to go forward? Because sitting out in the open like this seems...
He's trying to get a different angle on towards Haiba, as we can see here. Obviously the shot hitting the ground, but from that position he can kind of angle towards K4, but he can also force Haiba to commit one side. The thing is, they need to kill Haiba before they lose Nitin, obviously.
Okay, and there we go. We can see actually Batchat from the high ground, a little fire coming in that way towards Diplomat after he fired on Nadine. So kind of playing like you were talking about, trying to take that attention elsewhere and let some other tanks find their way in. This 511 into the side of Diplomat's turret.
See, what does Diplomat do here? I mean, he goes forwards, he gets shot, he goes backwards, he's getting shot. Kaizu now sprung the trap, but that's a bad shot trading against a mouse. Beowulf, one of the best heavy tank players in the Russian league even, so squaring off against him is always going to be quite tough. And there comes Lostro. His mouse still has 2.6k HP available.
Yeah, and look at this. You see Stefan going into the background. You see Durs trying to
Skull,
figure out what he wants to do. Durs hasn't been able to find a way of being effective the past few minutes. He's mostly just kind of been waiting to see if an opportunity opens, but because nothing's presented itself from Not So Serious, I feel like because he's out of the fight this long, he's actually going to really take away from Kazna's ability to hold on here. That actually might be just the opening that Not So Serious doesn't realize they have yet.
The amount of damage taken on the NSS side is severe, but is it going to be enough for Kazna crew to hold on? That's the question. As Beowulf picks up Kaizu in that batchat, and now this could be the domino effect. Diplomat picks up Beowulf in return though. Nidin, damage Amarak, damage gun, not going to be doing much. Stefan pulling back from that 1-2 line because obviously just Gauss over there. Durs actually picks it up from the distance, and this is good because now Shotnik is left alone in the open with nothing to play for. He's going to be running away. Just Gauss is going to be coming closer, but the damage has been done. Kazna crew is about 2,300 up. They have better positions now as well. They've retaken the hill, and this should be the end of NSS's attack.
Yeah, it's NSS on attack. They've got not a whole lot of options. It would take something really crazy for Kazna to mess it up at this point. So this is good for Kazna. This is really good. They just have to make sure that they finish this clean and can focus on the next side, because as they go on to attack, that's where this one evens itself back out, and we end up with a net zero, right? No real gain or loss for anybody.
Exactly. So Kazna doing what they're supposed to do, but doing it well. It's not really a close round. They're far ahead. They've made the correct moves.
But I feel like there's some criticism to be had. I think Kazna knows what they made some mistakes in, because you know Kazna, we've talked to them plenty. They're very critical of what they do.
Yeah.
They're always going to step away, win or lose, and say, oh, it was not good. We need to work on this, and we didn't really turn around our strategies here. We're not coordinated enough. But that's their competitive edge just coming out, maybe.
I think they're just going to be kicking themselves, I mean, NSS side about Nadine losing so much HP. Of course, being critical for them as well, obviously, not just for Kazna crew. Nadine, he's supposed to be the factor that makes Haiba die, pretty much. Haiba survived on 1.5k HP, so it didn't really work out. Because he can only turn his turret either way, right? He can only watch one side at the same time.
But it really didn't pan much there. Anyway, this one's wrapping itself up. Coca-Cola's still alive. Not anymore. And that's going to be Kazna going 2-1. And there they are, passing the high fives down. Feeling a little bit better. Maybe Kazna catches a breeze here and starts to look a lot.
They can't let momentum take them either, though. You just find balance between what is good for you and what is taking it too far.
I like the way you say that, because that was what I was thinking as well. Don't overconfidence is one way of putting it. Don't let it go to your head. But with 2 points on the board, we switch sides on mines. And Kazna's attack, you know their attacks better than I do. What do you think?
Well, all teams seem to have a similar style now on the way of how to attack things. It is always that 3-line attack with the 7-8 line at the same time, kind of pincer in the tanks from two sides, maybe an RD behind that. It is very standard. I like what Oops did though. I mean, even though they lost that round with the LTB shielding and the 2 batches going up, they could take a lot of map control very early on. I think it's something you can repeat. I kind of like that.
Yeah, you like the RD on attack thing, right?
Yeah, but I also like the LTB from Oops, which they climbed up 0 line, shielded 2 batches. I think it's nifty.
So you're waiting to see if maybe that shows back up. We'll see if maybe they change things around or go for a different strat altogether.
I think for Kazna, I mean, NSS probably knows how to defend, so I feel like they need to play something not really super obvious, you know? I feel like they need to...
We're going to need to see the special strats.
Yeah, something maybe slight variations of what we're seeing, but at least something new.
Okay. So if Kazna plays predictable, not going to happen.
Yeah, NSS, we saw it on steps, right? Kazna played kind of predictable. They tried to do some special things, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, and NSS knew exactly.
I feel standard, playing standard against NSS, who are going to be defending, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, now as we load into battle number 4, it's going to be mines again. This time Kazna attacking, not so serious. Our blue team defending in the lineups. Looks like 2 mouse, a Type 5. I'm a fan. I know you have IS4, E4s, 2 of them actually, and an M4043. So not so serious is all heavy, and well, by that I mean big tanks, big guns.
No real intention to
scout or to
go 1-2 line whatsoever. It's gonna call park the best. I'm not such a fan of the Type 5. I feel it's a very situational tank.
I think what it's my stance on Type 5 is. It's very reliable damage, right? You always hit something and it takes damage. This is what you're talking about.
What? Oh! Talking about something unpredictable. Kaizu getting killed within the first minute of the game. Let's say we didn't expect that.
That was Coca-Cola, that was Just Cause, that was Beowulf, and that was Shotnik. All of them firing at once.
I think Kazna crew listened to us. They need to do something which surprises us. Suiciding a tier 10 light tank might work in that case.
Perfect. Great strat, guys. All right, that's one way to turn around. They won't know how to deal with this.
This I do not understand. That is
this is not so serious. Just landing their shots.
Yeah,
great job from them. That's where it goes.
Even if he made it up, if the Type 5 doesn't hit him, Artie with the 2 other guys, you'd still be low HP.
That's what the strat does. You try to make that jump. Everybody's got a gun trained. Enough guns on target. Yes, RNG's a factor, but enough guns on target, someone's going to connect, and a light enough tank's going to really get taken down. For example, here, Veko.
Gets stunned as well by Haiba, so playing now aggressive in counteraction to what happened. It seems like Kazna crew had an idea, a special tactic coming out, but Stefan, he's the second part, trying to cross, they tried to get the attention from the NSS guys. Let's just say it didn't work out very well.
No, it's like you poke, it's a game of whack-a-mole right now. They poke their heads up in mid, they got whacked back down. Then they poke their heads up in the west side, they get whacked back down. And hit points wise, just look, not so serious, sitting at 14K right now versus the 9,000 from, sorry, almost 10K from Kazna.
So I feel like Kazna crew had a special tactic in mind here.
356 into Stefan. That's a 604. No, sorry, it's mine. Sorry, that's like a 400 meter shot.
I feel like Kazna crew had a special tactic coming out, but
it's over.
Counting on the Type 5 heavy to miss, but then also the mouse to miss, the RD to miss,
and the
E4. It's a lot of counting on personal mistakes coming out from NSS, which arguably
you're playing probabilities that aren't in your favor.
Yeah,
that's what you're doing. You're saying, look,
this is. I mean, rather than this, I'd have them play standard. I mean, at least they'd have a better chance than something where you count on your enemy missing.
Yeah, something that's a little more like, if they decide to push, it doesn't matter. I'm here, they're there. We're gonna shoot each other. I have more damage. I win, right? But with these ones, yeah, you're playing roulette. You're flipping a freaking.
Let's just play. They've played Russian roulette and they've lost twice.
Oh. Usually you can only lose once at that.
Yeah, well, in their case, they managed to do it twice. Don't tell me how that happens.
That's skill for you right there. All right, so as we look at it, every tank on the battlefield rather healthy from Not So Serious. I don't think
I understand the position, right?
Where's the way in? Let's look at that. Where's the way in for Kazna? They are down a tank. They can deal the damage, right? It's possible, difficult, but
the only thing I see for Kazna crew is the way out, and it's called escape exit battle.
Oh, all right. So you're calling it right here now. I can't disagree.
With this position,
it looks like it's done.
I mean, you kind of want to like give it to Kazna crew. Maybe they can do something, but they needed zero line. I think honestly, for this to work, they need zero line control, like that position, because I can see what Stefan's trying to do, right? K1, you have a 113 there. He works kind of well on the RT's position in K5, K6, because he can't really shoot him well, and he can play on the turret, shoot his IS-4 behind the rock, push back the guys under the hill, but then you need the crossfire coming in.
But
now,
that's
Shotnik,
not there.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Shotnik is just sitting there at this rock, taking the 113 damage, bouncing already up to 3k bounce, and he has nothing that's challenging him from behind. Nobody that puts pressure.
Yeah, that zero line is what should be there right then. And with Artie, you might see Artie get pressured out. You might see a number of little details come out just because of that zero line. You're absolutely right. But here and now, I think you've called it, and we've both run enough defenses and attacks on mines to know once you lose a lot of your early tanks, once you're behind in hit points, once you're behind in position, it's such an upward climb that really you're depending on your opponent to make a mistake, and you're hoping that you find it in time to exploit it.
782 on the thirds from Nidin as well, just making it a little bit worse from the side of Kazna crew, who can't catch a break. NSS is now almost double their HP. You can see the reaction though from NSS, and that's why they wanted zero line against Kazna crew. When they did this and got the 113 across, NSS started taking control of that 8-9 line to make sure there's no possibilities from a flank or pressure from behind. Now if they had that zero line, then obviously there would have been a different story.
Yeah, although do you see on the minimap, there's someone moving out to the east.
416.
He can't make the jump. Yeah, not without a boost.
I think he would just die as well. Even if he made it.
But he's so low.
Yeah, but once you come past the rock, you're in the open, no matter what time.
Then the Type 5 would have an easy time with that. It's like, it's practically designed to just catch AT shells on the top of it. And here we go, more shots out towards the IS-4. That's Stefan. Not quite making those connections. He's kind of flinging those out there, isn't he?
Well, he kind of has to rush his shots. In his position, you are on 2 HP in the 113. HE from Shotnik will finish you off, so you have to peek, snapshot, and get back, because if you stay for that 1 second too long, you're done, you're out.
Fun fact, Shotnik doesn't have any HE loaded.
Okay, well...
Just, of course, Stefan doesn't know that.
Exactly.
So he's playing assuming that Shotnik loaded 1 or 2, and there we go. There's a kill. He's able to pick one up, so there you go.
With HE even, so Stefan there, good uses of HE ammunition, low HP target.
Always deals damage, right? That's the
Not always.
Most of the time.
It can actually bounce.
70% of the time it works every time?
Maybe. I'll give it to you for now, but...
Okay. I know. It's HE's a fun thing to talk about. Now Durs is going to go down, and for a moment I was going to bring up the topic of Kazna having enough guns on the battlefield that in the right position, but there we go. Monty's going to be down. I don't think Monty is crucial to the victory for Not So Serious right now.
Look at Edin though, peeking out all the way, no fear, takes down Stefan. He's like, mate, you've come to the wrong neighborhood, comes around the corner, just removes him from the battlefield, and I think the rest of NSS is feeling it right now. They might even push for all they know.
Yeah.
I feel like they're that kind of team that would just push in at one point.
Yeah, they're just like, guys, this is 2 minutes left. That's too much time. We need to end this now.
Yeah, look at it. Lodestop pushing the east against Kazna. Nidin sitting in the open, playing against Diplomat. The rest of the team now started to make their way towards the hill. Diplomat
is having trouble right now. All four of those.
Forwards, makes them miss. The rest of the team's like, let's go take the hill, guys.
Yeah, Nadine actually has some moves there. Diplomat, I would have expected a TVP to sink at least 2 of 4 into the top of an E4. But that's not the point. Now, Vecho is up top of the hill, and, well, he's got a 3v1 to deal with.
Yeah, maybe if they weren't all above 70% health, there might be a chance, but with Beowulf there as well, Diplomat now came back, put some shots on towards that Type 5, but realistically, it's not really going to make much of a difference as Coca-Cola just calls Beowulf come around the corner. Haiba is not their first target, it's Vetso, they want to pick him up, 312 HP, Diplomat still reloading for 10 seconds, and with NSS just pushing in, it kind of just shows they just want to close out the round, they don't feel like sitting around. So, what is there to say? I mean,
it's
good display from NSS.
Yeah, solid play. I mean,
they could have sat there and kept 10k HP, right? But they chose to drive it.
Yeah, they chose that. Let's make this a fight. Let's not sit here and waste our own time. Let's end this and let's kind of bring it to Kazna. Because let's say you're playing against Kazna, you know, going to a draw victory is probably less effective than just.
Well, it's always a little
bit
of you know, smashing your opponent if you drive in and kill all of them. It's like, you know, we could choose to sit there and wait for you, but instead we're just gonna go and kill you to make it feel even worse.
It makes a statement, sends a message.
It's like in the beginning of the match, I'd go and kill them. In the end of the match, I would just sit there.
Really?
If it's like in the end of the match, yeah.
Oh,
because then they have to deal with the fact that, you know, they're at the end of the game. It's not working out.
Oh, Diplomat having trouble there. I would have auto-aimed while strafing on that one.
The E4 is a tank you can auto-aim on.
I mean, on the shots 3 and 4 where he was on the backside of an E4, I would have done that because the auto-aim goes into the shot trap on the backside of the turret of the E4. So if you're ever behind the turret of an E4, I've always felt like you could reasonably safely just auto-aim for those shots. If you're ever risking, of course, needing to drive, shoot at the same time, and it's both maneuvers happen to be quite complicated when that comes up. Yeah.
I can fully agree with that one. Good stuff there though from NSS. Picking it up against Kazna crew, 2-2, all tied up. Moving into our next map.
It's Mura.
Muravanka.
Yeah, mad.
Now, map Kazna has struggled with throughout this tournament.
But on the side of NSS, they seem okay. They seem fine at it. So I mean, is this another 1-1, or is this where we catch a breakaway? I don't think there's any signs saying breakaway yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet. This is probably where it continues to go back and forth. Defenders have a solid play they can make. Attackers have quite a bit against them just to try and get into a fight, unless we see some crazy like magical forest play east side. Both teams just rush it.
Such a weird round though from Kazna crew.
In what way? What are you thinking?
Just the light, he felt kind of slow getting there. Because we have seen this play come out before, but it felt so much quicker.
The timing on it, yeah.
Yeah, it felt kind of slow because we have seen teams climb instantly, even throughout this tournament, and then they went like C-line instantly through the little city, like through the city that's in the eastern side, northeast. He would just drive through the city, turn on the last possible moment and drive up, and he would be before the Type 5 heavy.
That's probably what it was. He probably didn't go for the most effective timing. He probably just kind of meandered over there. And just when he just kind of meandered on over, just trying to figure out his things, he just happened not to make the timing. And that's what contributes to you getting taken out. And if you take a look, guys, don't forget to get involved following us on Facebook using hashtag WattGF2017.
Or hashtag WatchPlayWin. I think that's on Facebook and Twitter as well. So you can use those to tweet, maybe me and Randall will read a few as well in between the breaks.
If we get a little time, of course. I'm following everything everyone's throwing up on Twitter. There's been some fun memes, a few jokes here and there. Love interacting with my North American pros who are always sending me little comments about everything. They've always got an opinion on the match.
We all do, I think.
Well, everyone does, but they reach out specifically like Rukill. No, I believe in Kazna. They've got it. They've got the secret.
Well,
got the secret sauce, man. They're gonna do this.
Let's figure out if they have the secret in this one, though. Kazna Crew versus NSS.
West side.
2-2. Super aggressive play coming out from Kazna Crew in the beginning on the attack. Already starting the cap with 2 guys on that one. 53 seconds left now at this moment in time. NSS being forced into the reaction. They have Shotnik in the position over there, though. Just Cause taking some damage. Nidin as well. Not the greatest of starts here. Vetso taking some in his 4-1-6, but that's only the tier 8.
Yeah, and we're going to need to see if the 113s decide to aggress a little bit more or not, because right now we're going to see the counter push coming in from Not So Serious. You're going to see the Bad Chats moving in slightly on the east side. They're going to try and pressure out Diplomat, Stefan, and Isne, or if those guys aren't in front of them, they'll try and go for the cap. But it looks like the 113s are going to go after the Bad Chats on the flank, and look at he's on fire.
Low snow, not going well for him. Triple 113 coming off the cap. Everybody else following quickly behind. Kazna Crew with the aggressive play, catching out the first bad shot. Coca-Cola not very much better. Haibak wants some piece of the cake as well, pushing straight in towards him. Just Cause in the meantime picks up thirst though. Haibak goes down, a little bit over aggressive there. They need to be careful not to throw it now. Stefan driving in. Monty kind of farming damage from the back lines. Beowulf trying to tank it like a champion, like Rocky Balboa in his best days. Guys are now taking a lot of damage as well. Kazna need to close this clean.
Yes, they do, but the thing is, this can still go either way. You do have you have one more gun on the battlefield right now for Kazna. Hit points still in favor of Kazna, just a little bit, but watch out.
Beowulf.
Yeah, you need to get that kill. If they can't get him off the battlefield, they're going to regret it. They're going to pay. And Kazna right now, they've got more tanks on low hit points. Just Cause gets taken down. Good. That's what Kazna needs.
It feels like Kazna is throwing this game at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Beowulf still alive. Yzne needs 2 shots to take him down. Stefan in the meantime dueling with Shotnik. Monty picks it up from the backline in the Udes, and this has gone from bad to worse from Kazna. Yzne goes down, Vetso picks it up. But what has happened to Kazna Crew in this round? They had it, they were ahead, and they just didn't hit the shots.
No, it's one of those situations where it's the brawl, everything's in chaos, and you're just trying to focus fire. There's a billion things happening at once, and they missed it. Not So Serious landed the shells they needed to.
They had it right there, and there. They came over, initial volley, Beowulf, great. But then they all kept moving. Nobody was aiming their shots, all on the move.
Yeah, it's the discipline.
That's the moment where 2 guys just stand still, aim the shot, finish off Beowulf.
Yes.
Or 1 guy stays on his side and just make sure he dies, right?
And someone forgot. Someone wasn't focused, or someone didn't think it was their job.
The coordinator, because then the other guy started aiming at Beowulf. Monty is shooting them with the Udes. Shotnik from the side. The mouse survives. TeamSpeak is like, we need to kill Beowulf. People splitting off. He's the one side, Stefan on another side.
But now we're sitting at a 2-2 to kind of just jump past all of that now. Where we are is a 2 versus 2. Monty in the UDES, this 1,000 hit points, so...
We gotta say though, an SS advantage with that STB, tank that can play hold down as well. And that UDES, yeah, he needs to go into siege mode, but...
Monty, though, has moved out of his position. He's moving to the north right now, and that's what worries me. I want to see if he's going to run into the Bat Chat that is
Monty's still
Kaiju.
within supporting range from Shotnik though, so if he would come over...
Maybe.
He's
but
spotted out now though, but I don't think
he crossed over,
go for this.
Yeah, if he actually... No, did he get spotted on purpose, maybe? You think he's trying to? If he can try and bait...
I think Monty will find him. It seems to be looking straight at him. There we go. Vetso is spotted out already by Monty. 369 in towards him. This makes him a 2-shot prediction play there coming out from Monty, knowing that this is a possibility, anticipating it, and dealing with it.
Yep, and we're going to see... You saw how we were looking at those POVs for a second. Monty was waiting to see if something's coming behind. And look at that. Shotnik, he knows. Look for the Bat Chat moving around the flank.
Kaizu is spotted out by Monty. He sees him running away. This kind of leaves a moment in time where both Shotnik and Monty might go for it.
I don't think he actually had him spotted at that moment. I think that was...
no,
he didn't. Yeah, he didn't know. He got spotted, though.
But getting spotted is the same thing, though. You can see Monty is driving forwards, and Shotnik is going to be coming in as well to try and pick it up. Vetso needs to pick up Monty. He misses. That's crucial. Shotnik might be able to pick it up, but he has a house in between him and Vet, so far so good.
That shot might change the course of this. That was where Kazna had the win.
Monty might die towards Kaiser though, he's coming from behind right now.
Maybe, but that's if Shotnik can actually get a shot on target, the correct target, that's where this can turn around. Now, Kaiju's he's moving up at about half the distance of where you'd normally expect, but spotted. There we are. All right, we know where Kaiju is, we know where the Batchet is. And
it's
so...
not good for Kazna, is it? I mean,
no,
defender.
It's not good.
Kaiser shoots, misses. Shotnik does the same, but now the two tanks in the same position. I don't know. I don't like them sitting in the same position, but I like the concept. But I think one of them should be further back to cover them.
I think what they're trying to do right now is just regroup, make sure that they don't get caught out, because what you're up against is a more mobile, dangerous lineup, right? The Kazna side is, oh, nice shot. Monty
blind shot. Kaizu was spotted first time driving into the bush. Shotnik fired, missed, but the second time around,
he called it.
He called it. Monty called the bluff from Kaizu. He's going to drive into that bush again, shot it, killed him. Great play there.
Ah, and then everyone does it too. We all do it. Everyone.
One more shot into the bush, just to be sure?
Just to be sure, always, you know? You're just like, okay, he left, but that's he went there for a reason. He was looking for the right shot.
I don't like Kaizu driving into the same bush, honestly.
Yeah.
Getting spotted, driving into the bush, Shotnik missing the shot. Well, Kaizu backing off, obviously, and juking it, but then driving into the same bush and sitting there.
It's one of those things where you're gambling. You're hoping your opponent decides, I'm gonna change my guess.
They still had a lot of time. There was no need for an overcommitment, you know? Like, why is he making a commitment there? They had around 4 minutes on the clock. They know where both tanks are. They have time to play with.
Yeah.
It feels like a waste.
That's what Kazna's probably thinking about right now. They're probably sitting there regretting that exact decision.
Honestly, what I think would have been a good play for them is to put somebody in the bushes in front of the number 2 base, the Bacha, to spot out everything, with the 416 in the cap. Because the 416 would spot anything coming behind him. So I think that would have worked.
I agree. That's a good way to play it. Try and say, okay, well, the one cap isn't an option. There's too many enemies around there.
Kaizu could have driven into the obvious bush, which a lot of teams use,
and we already
would never figure it out.
Yeah, we already know the boundaries I could approach my opponent from, and we know that
neither Monty or Shotnik could have spotted him driving into those bushes, and with the 416, as Shotnik picks it up, that will be NSS winning a round, which was never theirs to begin with, making it 3-2 in their favor. What a comeback. Beowulf staying alive around, and I'm very interested. How much did Beowulf actually manage to block before he went down?
Beowulf, we'll have to check. I'm looking at my own post-game stats.
That's too much. That's too much.
2,200 if I'm correct.
That's way too much for the kind of aggressive play Kazna went with.
Oh yeah.
That's let's say 5 shots from 113s.
Yeah, and a few other of the smaller tanks maybe.
Well, 4 shots from
4 shots from who?
From a 113.
Oh yeah, that adds up.
Yeah, just about adds up.
Yeah, a little RNG in the mix. You know, sometimes you can actually throw a fifth shell in there depending on how you want to pace it out.
And Lolsto doing 0 damage. Coca-Cola doing 400 as well.
Yeah, that's the problem I have is see
Kazna was overexcited. It definitely felt like that. The way Haiba drove in, I already said it. He wants a piece of the cake, but apparently, you know, his plate wasn't ready or something.
Yeah,
because he drove over first, kind of suicided, even if you want to put it like that.
It's too risky. It's when you think you've got it, you
one batch out of life and Beowulf never survives, for example.
Yeah, this is true. But there's a lot of what ifs in that range. So maybe I think it's best to look back at this replay right here. This is what you were talking about when things got crazy, right? The push forward, 113s get the kill, Haiba moves up, makes a little sense there, right? But after that, that's your criticism, right?
Yeah, when the 113s continue pushing, you can see them split up. Diplomats, G1, Stefan on the side, Yzna very far away, Beowulf yet still alive.
I did like that shot that we showed there with Monty's supporting.
Monty did amazing.
Yeah, he did a great job. He was doing exactly what he needed to. He's practically an artillery piece placing shells like he did. And without him, you don't have NSS winning that one, definitely.
But even then in the later stage, like this is the play from Kaiser.
Because that's it. Then he follows up that with the blind kill. So that's what, 2 already up there for him. And then yeah, you've got Shotnik making that last one, but it felt like without Monty there, Shotnik couldn't have had the confidence.
Without Monty, that would never be this end of the round. So he did amazing. But we're getting into the second round here on Moravanka between Kazna crew and NSS. Kazna currently down 2-3. NSS going to be on the attack. Kazna going to be on the defense. And it looks like another quick play coming out.
Yeah, nice little west side play is the opening from Nadine. Nice little scout run, not too aggressive. and we'll see how this one pans out. It's going to be cap pressure from NSS, but I think you and I can both tell already this cap pressure is only going to last for the next minute before this all devolves into a brawl.
Ooh, but look at this though, Stefan catches out Monty in the beginning of the game already, doing a lot of damage, but Fetzo seems to be the one taking most of it. He pushed around the... No, he didn't push around the corner, the Batsats actually did, and they picked him up rather quickly in that email too, obviously, but not hold down. It doesn't survive very long, and a great counter reaction there from NSS on losing the HP on Monty. They made the play. Kazna not ready whatsoever.
Yeah, the email 2 was a tank that if this goes longer, it performs even better.
Yeah.
Now that it's died so early, of all tanks that could have been taken off the battlefield very early, that's probably one of the ones that hurts the most, or that is the most. Yeah, I think specifically hurts the most. You want the email 2 to at least get a clip.
Yeah, because you could play against these heavy tanks, put some shots into their armor when they peek out, but now 14 seconds left on the cap. Diplomat is going to have to go forward, or Kaiser. Somebody needs to reset here for the side of Kazna crew. Diplomat seems to be making a move for it, but that's going to take so much damage. 4 seconds left. They might not even get back to defend this one. 1 second left on the cap, and Kazna crew is going to go down once more on Moravanka. That's it. Base captured. NSS in a 1 minute 50-second victory puts Kazna 4-2 down.
Wait for it. You got to wait for the timer because remember, kills. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. I always say to wait because they...
Yeah, but in this situation, nobody...
It's always about the dream, man. I'm always about the
somebody
dream.
told me that now, even though if you kill everybody, it's a win.
No, not necessarily. I think there's some scenarios where absolutely, depending on the way the battle ends.
Because I know how it used to work, where if you kill everybody in the battle end, you win, even if it's captured.
It depends, because the way the defender and attacker objectives work out, we'd have to go through all the different scenarios to kind of show the contrast of those. But that's a bit of a rabbit hole of a topic. But altogether, it's if the defender, if he kills everything, pretty much the defender wins. If everything's dead on the battlefield and no one's capped the base and the timer and actually even if the timer's ended, then it's all done there. So any thoughts right now on the match so far, sir?
No, not really. Just an impressive player from NSS, but I'm pretty sure the analyst desk will have something to say about at least Amurovanka.
Oh yes, we're gonna send it over to our analysts on the side of the stage. Gentlemen, take it away.
That was an outstanding match there on Moravanka. Started off fairly close here, but starting to see a bit of a gap starting to form now, aren't we?
I mean, it was super close on the last games. We've seen that, but Moravanka, what was once Bastion of Kazna, I would say one of the best maps they have, kind of twisted sideways for them. In the previous game, I think it tilted them a bit because they had a really high aggressive approach, and then one part of the push was not really well coordinated, and some of the tanks didn't penetrate the shots they needed to pen on the mouse when they pushed him. Like what Beowulf survived there, I mean, he should have died so much faster. So much faster than earlier. And I think that really saved the game for NSS, bought them all the time they needed, then just 4-1-6 and one-shot Batchat, they just couldn't bring the game back.
Now, the first map that we played on was Steps, and round one was one timer defense there, Rockstar, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they tried to go for that same sort of boost play in the north, but the problem was NSS went all the way over to the 9-0, so they very quickly realized that a tank up there was completely out of the fight. They tried to come back in. The mouse is pushed around in the bottom and it ended up basically in a 2v3, which NSS almost pulled back, but just almost, I want to say by luck, Kazna managed to stay in it.
This is definitely the moment that Kazna even had a lot of luck, I would say, because they broke the Amorex of 2 vehicles, no less. So a lot of crossfire that NSS would usually have, it just didn't happen here. And they out-survived all the possibilities, which really brought the game close, super close. And you could see that from start that NSS was actually a bit surprised with Kazna's aggressive approach on that part of the map.
Yeah, they were playing fairly aggressive on the south end. And if you think about it, if teams go for that A1 climb, that's a tank out of the fight. So you can kind of assume that if they have a tank there, a tank at A0, depending on how effective that A0 tank is, you might be able to get a couple tanks out of the fight if you go for that brawl in the lower ground. However, they weren't expecting Kazna to be pushed up as far in the low ground as they were.
Now, interesting thing that we saw on this map is near the end we had Yuzny hiding up on the hill and we had Nadine trying to do that climb. Now, we had spoken earlier on, Rockstar, to Safi about the climb and he explained the dangers of it.
Yeah, if you hit it at the wrong angle, especially if you miss it, when you fall down, it's very easy to actually land just not even sideways, but just on the front drive wheel, and you take a lot of damage, easily 400 or 500 damage a try. And when he tried to do it at the end of that game, he missed it, and he almost killed himself. Luckily, he still managed to survive, but at that point, he had burned so much time just from missing the boost. It didn't matter how much damage he had taken, because even if he hadn't taken any damage and he had gone and gotten that climb, there was no time left to get all the way up there to kill Monty in that Udis.
Okay, now Mojo, the key kind of points in that battle then, the key turning point.
Well, the first thing, that the original tactics from Kazna was a bit risky, I would say, even, because they placed a light tank here completely alone, more or less uncovered, and we've already witnessed if a team pushes like this from the start and goes on them, they would really see him and annihilate him. Kazna, being the screening partner in NSS, they pretty much guessed it's not going to happen. So what they did is, they set it Udas here, so he will have an upper shots if anyone comes here. This guy here was more like checking what's going on, and they pushed with full force here. So we saw that actually worked. They avoided to play long game against Arti and so on. But honestly, what didn't strike me really nice in a later part of the game is because after all this commotion here, you can see when they were chasing the light, the big fight, and in one moment it's gonna just stay very few guys on low HP. But those guys on low HP were, look at this, we have an RT and a light tank fighting 3 vehicles plus Isne. So we have a situation that we have a TD here still lurking on a high ground, still watching like this. We have all these guys here and him missing on this light tank when he drove. They wanted to kill the RT, but for me, the biggest loss in this game was because they didn't utilize Isne. Isne is also a fast tank. Yes, he's a tank destroyer. Yes, he needs to go to the siege mode when he wants to shoot, but not when he's point blank. He could have went this line full speed and killed the RT without risking all of the big tanks.
Because that already almost turned it around. He got damage onto pretty much all of these tanks, including the kill onto that 430 there.
Yeah, the game came super close because of that. I mean, surviving on one shot with Isnek, hiding in a corner from a game where you had a complete dominance, this is really bad. And I mean, Ducky was completely right, because NSS almost won a game there, and the next game really brought their dominance.
Yep. And in the next game and in that first game there on Steps, there was a standout player in both of those rounds in the Dean on the light tanks, which was a player that actually Daki had highlighted as well as being somebody to watch out for.
Yeah, definitely, and he definitely, just by the way he played the end of that first game even, popping around, constantly getting those tanks lit for the Artie to get the damage, and then here on the second game, he was the one that got a lot of the lights on the cap. He made this run past these guys, and he got the reset onto the S-Tank there to where they had to turn and deal with him. So even if he goes down, he's breaking turrets. He's making them turn to deal with him. He's making them chase him around through his backfield, and it's all the other guns on his team that are pumping out the damage right now that pretty much won that game for NSS.
And that was beautiful because they were trying to get the resets, and then all of a sudden, boom, he just pops up beside the tanks in the tank circle, in the capture circle.
Yep. Exactly, and that's something with those new tier 10 light tanks with high camo value, plus they're very quick, so if you take the right approach, you can get really close to some tanks without them even knowing you were ever there.
So we had it going 1-for-1, but I mean, Mojo, let's go into this in more detail again, like looking at it tactically.
Well, from the start of the game, when you see that someone has actually 2 light tanks like NSS has, normal tactic what people would think, okay, they're gonna go with one guy up here, one guy up here, one guy to spot aggressive, maybe even press the mill with some, but they have mouses so they can't. They can just maybe snipe someone if he's here spotted, which is something that NSS already did, which is exactly why they didn't push them. Instead, they just kept a light tank here in the bushes in this area with Binos where he can just spot the cap and the arriving tanks, Udes covering them, and they kept roaming light tank, faster than a Bachat, more mobile, slower silhouette, and all of these other guys They're just snipers getting different angles on the cap.
And one subtle thing I want to point out, you mentioned the light tank in the bushes. He was doing something a little bit tricky. He actually wasn't sitting directly in the bushes. Instead, he was sitting all the way on the red line, behind all the bushes a good way, far enough away that the spot right here could not spot him, who will normally spot those bushes in that area. So just that subtle little change made it so Kazna crew were sitting there trying to figure out what was going on, and it slowed them down in their on their attack, and it bought NSS a lot more time to just kind of sit there and burn that clock down.
I would say Kazna did logical things. They pushed their tanks here so they would have a shots. They pushed tanks all the way here so they would have a spot. They had people covering the middle. They had people covering the back line shooting, and they put the lowest profile tank, which would be an STRV TD, in here in the cap. But playing against two lights, it definitely doesn't really work like that, because this guy is free to do whatever he wants. He can just go from back, he can spot he spotted, and in worst case scenario, it is exactly like they did. They just pushed one light like this, full speed, low profile, and he spotted whatever's going to want. And what's worse, we can see later that even though he did it like that when he pushed, he actually survived and killed the TD. Like, that was disastrous moment, I would say.
Watch the route he actually runs as well. It's super impressive. He does a hell of a lot of running. Goes all the way up over the top.
I think they're way above the mileage, but there you go. Look at this. TD gone. Unbelievable, in the middle of the Kazna ranks, right next to the mouse.
Yeah, he just pops up beside him, like used the rails beneath Stefan. Nicely done, nicely done. So we were there 1-1 at steps. We then went into mines, and the first thing that Kazna were able to do was actually they were able to break the defense of Not So Serious there.
Yeah, and looking at it, they went about it in a kind of an unconventional way, taking those mouses, getting them all the way over towards that zero line and trying to push around. But at the end of the day, Kazna was just ready for it. They had too many guns trained on it. And even though they end up killing this Batchat here in a second, there was just too much firepower from Kazna to really for them to overwhelm it, even with just the raw armor and HP.
It's my bad. Kazna were able to hold the defense against Not So Serious. Next time round, in the next round, it didn't go so well, but Kazna crew were able to stay ahead here, and this is an interesting thing in this exchange between these two teams. Kazna crew were, you know, taking the lead each time, and it kind of goes okay, but after Mines is when it doesn't go okay. But in this round, Kazna kind of held himself up and then pushed in together when you knew they had that advantage.
Yeah, definitely. And then we moved on to the round after that, which that's the line I want to talk about for a second when we get to it. Just the opening volley from NSS onto Kazna crew. They were set up with it with so many different angles, and we can pull up the map. I really want to like go over every single position, because NSS clearly were trying to counter that zero line. They said, this is how we're going to do it. We're not going to boost the tank up of ourselves. We're going to put almost every single gun we have onto that line.
I would say first here, Kazna, they had a really, really fast approach on this map, and we should see it. I mean, they were the guys that were trying to play super aggressive, and they really wanted to approach from different angles. This was one push here, one push here. These guys wanted to press the center, and this is the middle. Yeah. But there we have NSS from the other side.
Yeah, but then look at this. You have this gun here, these guns here, plus that one there.
Okay, well, we're ready to go into the rest of this match. Let's go back over to the casters as the Killzone Rookie are waiting for us.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Some good points there on the analysis desk. I especially liked the part where you said you agreed with me.
Yeah, we were chatting back here about that, and of course then they're like, Docky brought this one up earlier. I'm just like, yeah, of course, Docky's right again, but
we're both right. We're in this together.
Oh, because we put our bets in already that this was going to be a bit NSS-sided. I mean, right now
I'm starting to feel like I'm cursing these teams here, because like in the last match I said steps was going to be a deciding factor, and so it was. And in this one, I said Moravanka might be the deciding factor, and so it is.
So yeah, it's like
like next time I'm just going to like cheer for other teams and say different maps are important, all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, Moravanka was super important, but this is another one where I said the difference could be made on the side of NSS. Honestly, more in that one, because it is that kind of tactical map. Very aggressive play lends itself towards it as well. So
yeah, and then of course these guys are coming off a short break. For Kazna, that means a chance to regroup. For NSS, it means a chance to relax for a moment and make sure that you maintain your focus. And they're just about to start off. Now, it's going to be Kazna defending to start, so...
That's a good thing for them, I'd say.
Yeah,
They need this round. They need this round desperately. If they don't take this round, it's over.
Yeah, if they lose here, all of a sudden the lead's too much. It's almost impossible to dig yourself out of that hole. It's
Especially coming then into Roomberg attack yourself.
Oh,
So...
that's a miserable map side. That's
Yeah.
that just never looks good. So I'm glad you brought up the point about being on defense first.
So-
There are very few teams that
Yeah.
could take attack and say they're
Yeah,
coming.
especially against equally skilled. But here we can see Kaiser spotting out the initial play from NSS. A lot of bad shots, kind of says they want to fight zero line, but Kazna crew has literally everybody except for Yizna in that area. So we're going to get a fight. We're going to get a brawl.
This is good though for Kazna. They've chosen the correct side of the map to defend. They haven't
backing
too
off.
much in the north. Well, maybe they back off for a moment just to get in control, but
Stefan caught in the open.
Oh,
Stefan
no,
got
not
even
more.
Shotnik shooting him from behind. Drops into 917 HP. But the trade so far in Kazna crew's favor, I'd say. Just Cause taking some, Shotnik taking some as well. Yes, Stefan was caught out of position, but thankfully they hit the shots. And I think Kazna, they're going to come back now with a vengeance.
oh, they are, and it's time for NSS to not to linger. They need to back off, give some ground. They know the Kazna guys are going to start moving in, and they know that their time here is running up. They're going to need to back off, see what they can do, because look at that zero line. Look at that push. They're just moving in to 113s. That's going to be almost impossible to deal with once they're settled, and that's going to mean NSS is probably going to start going back to the west and maybe back up towards our 1 cap. What do you think?
Yeah, nice. They might go back towards the 1 cap, but they're going to have to abandon Losha for that, though. There's Vetso now pushing down. Losha is over there. We know that 113 is not 100% safe. You can see Coca-Cola already abandoned that window position as he knows he wouldn't be safe there. Losha is a little bit dead in the water here. Rest of his team doing what they're supposed to do, which is abandon him. He's just expected to do as much damage as he possibly can from that position. Between Durs and Vetso, he won't survive very long. There we go, another one coming in towards him. Nidin sticking around for a little bit. Shouldn't stay for too long though, because obviously in that tier 9 bad shot as well, if you linger for too long, you're not giving up just one tank, you're giving up 2.
Exactly, and look at this up on the north side. You got 2. I think that's just 2 mediums from NSS moving on up. Monty taking the lead and losing about half of his health to pay a toll in order to take position. I don't know if this is really going to pay off for NSS. This is starting to look like they're going to just throw their faces into a bunch of bullets here.
Interesting there. Shotnik wasn't even tracked, but still, I think he thought he was tracked standing in the open. Didn't make much sense.
Or
but
trying to get that last little bit to 0 on your bat chat, maybe?
yeah, perhaps, but they do take down Kaiser in the meantime. Monty coming in as well. Picks up Yizna.
Oh,
That's
nice.
2 tanks down for Kazna crew. That's the northern defense down. This leaves the cap wide open.
It does. The only support that exists is currently, what is it, almost about 400 meters away on the 0 line. Maybe we can move up Beowulf onto the cap. A full health Mouse, 3,200 hit points, plenty of armor. On top of that, you could hide, two or three of those bat shots behind him pretty easily without all that much to pay.
Look at Haiba already taking damage
no.
from those bad shots. Coca-Cola holding on as long as he can. A bounce comes off, but Coca-Cola is not going to do that one. He's still in that window. He's still surviving. Nidin being a nuisance in the side from that K4-5 area. Now shooting Diplomat. Diplomat tried to cross in the opening. He might go down for this. They need to be careful. 3 guys have joined the cap though. 25 seconds left. I don't think there's a way out for Kazna.
And Diplomat throws one that should have been a kill shot right into the wall next to Coca-Cola. And yeah, that's probably it. This is only a matter of time before the caps should finish up. And there, that's it. 50B is down.
Beowulf picks up Stefan Haiba, returns on towards Monty though, but with 8 seconds left, Kazna crew is about to get capped once more. The second time in a row here, 2 seconds left. NSS is going to pick it up, and that will make it 5-2 in favor of NSS. And again, Kazna crew falling.
Oh, it's not formally there yet, but you were saying it's.
They're on their way down the slope. Man.
Yeah, Butter's getting called.
This is the second round in a row they get capped, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's an attack on Murrow from NSS, and that's an attack on Ruin Break from NSS.
it doesn't. They seem to catch no break whatsoever. NSS with the better rotations and the quicker rotations.
And usually you would expect to push like that on the north side to get shut down pretty quickly.
I mean, Durs and Vetso are peaking in the south.
And there was
where did the bad shots go?
There was advance notice. There was every reason to know.
Where did the bad shots go? Where did all those bad shots that were currently on 0 line, where did they all go?
Yeah. What happens when
Unless
you have
Kazna
that
was-
setup? You put 2 113s
Do you
on
think
the 0
Kazna
line.
would be like super afraid of a re-counter push onto 0 line?
No one
Which-
does that.
Nope. Elevate did it.
Oh, okay.
It didn't work.
Yeah. then my point still stands, right?
Yeah,
That
no.
you're just, for a second, I was like, oh, wait, I'm wrong? Oh, no, you're backing me up here. Yeah, exactly. Just don't think that's
it's
coming.
illustrating the thing that it doesn't work, but that they might still be afraid of it.
Fair enough. Like, you might still be wary of it because you know it could
but the
work.
rotations, come on, Kazna crew, we expect better than this.
No, even
had
that
Kaizu.
hypothetical where they do a reverse push where they'd fake it and still come back, it probably still doesn't work.
So
Like that,
the bad shots managed to pull back from zero line. Beowulf managed to pull back from the middle, drive all the way north, park himself in the cap, and cap out the base.
And they got spotted before they got to the cap. That was a good at least 50 meters
They needed
minimum to the cap
I don't know
before
what
they were
Kazna
spotted.
was doing, but they needed more tanks there. Sending Kaizu, who took a lot of damage, was like 600 HP with a T rate. How do you expect to hold the north with that? One bad shot to get across, that's 2 tanks dead.
I think the end. Kazna should have seen it coming. They should have read what was going on, and they didn't. Or if they did, they chose not to react.
Well, we're going to get into the next round very soon. Lineups here between Kazna and NSS. You can see a lot of bad shots towards the side of Kazna.
And look at that, 5100
We have
NSS.
actually seen it.
We do from time to time.
I think it was NSS as well that brought it during the group stage.
It was.
So
it's just nice to see.
I think he bent like 4 out of 6 as well. So
It's not a bad gun on them.
No, not whatsoever.
Yeah.
But Kazna crew, I don't know if I like the start here. NSS, what the difference between NSS and Kazna, it feels a little bit like, NSS went aggressive, decided they couldn't, and then rotated. Kazna's already putting half an all-in on that A-line.
Yeah, this is...
I don't. They're not going to take this bait. Just calls for spotting. He sees 3 tanks.
Yeah,
they're not going to take this bait.
If anything, they're expecting some zero-line stuff, and I see a lot of blind fire, it looks like, going out in various directions from the buildings over there.
I guess what Kazna crew expects is the NSS counter push zero line against Elevate. They expect maybe the similarity coming out.
I see what you're going for. Yeah, the tanks they don't see are obviously zero line. That's the best place for them to be. But no, they're actually over there in the northwest, and it looks like spotting has happened. Because of that, the jig's up. Not So Serious knows there are tanks coming from the northwest.
I don't know if I like Kazna crew stopping to get some shots on towards Monty. They did connect, but this gives times for the guns to turn.
Your payoff isn't there, right? You're not going to connect enough shells, deal enough damage to the point where stopping and wasting those precious seconds is going to pay off, right? It's better to just keep going forward, and you're probably actually more likely to get the damage you need just shooting on the move at that point.
So a lot of damage being done here towards the side of NSS, though Beowulf taking a lot of it. Monty gonna go down to that 5100. Vetso picks it up, but Monty there, you can see he made a shield for Just Cause. Did it on purpose, but also getting caught here in the open between Haiba and the Batchas. Luckily enough, the Batchas are on reload. This will make him survive for just a little bit longer, but in the meantime, look at the rotation, Rukil. There's multiple tanks coming towards the A-line. Diplomat goes down, but look at that. Who is coming there? I think it's Coca-Cola, I think it's Nitin, and they're gonna take this overmatch. These Batchas are all on reload.
Oh yeah, they're done. And look at this, the other tanks from Kazna crew that could have been pushing up from the south to kind of delay this or distract it or make them pay, they're not there. They're moving around to the west, they're moving around to the southeast. They're taking the safe road when they should be trying to make as much of a spectacle as possible.
Look at these Kazna tanks, Kaizu down, Thirst to follow, Haiba now reloaded, but it's a little bit too late for this kind of stuff. I mean, all Batchas wasting their ammunition.
But
standard stuff.
Hey, 4 tanks versus 4 tanks. I mean, the hit points surely are in favor of NSS, but I mean, at least as far as guns on the battlefield, you got to give them a little credit here.
True.
It's got a
not
minute
over.
more.
It's not over whatsoever, but when Nidin comes off reload, that will be Vetso down and out. Coca-Cola needs to be careful by Haiba. Yizna is in the back line, so he's spotted out. He needs to be careful as well, not to stay here too long. He does 2 shots of damage, which is nice, which is very well done by him, but now he is stuck in a position, and Shotney comes in with the HP to clean up Haiba.
Okay.
This leaves Stefan and Yizna and Nitin. He's out for that match point. He wants to get it. He's going to find Yizna as well. And then it will be Stefan left against 3.
Yep, that's it right there. That last mouse kill, kind of, that absolutely solidified it. Now it's not even possible for the potential damage to really be there.
Stefan's doing some damage, I guess, on towards Coca-Cola.
But think about how many reloads it takes for those French tanks.
4 now to, no, actually still 5. For Coca-Cola and Nidin, 5 shot in between them. And then Shotnik is 2 clips.
Yeah, but on the other side, I was aside from that, think about it. Kazna, when they were at 3 tanks left, the damage they could deal even theoretically, assuming they connect all shells and all that, it wasn't there. They don't have.
And they're not gonna let him go.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Kazna.
Basic mistakes though. Ruka.
Yeah,
nobody's spotting for the side of Kazna crew. 2 tanks cross the A line unspotted. There's no reaction.
It's like if there was a checklist of everything you made sure you covered when you made a strategy in World of Tanks.
They forgot the most important check mark.
Yeah, they just missed parts of like the first page. Like they might have just lost it and they decided, oh, second page it works.
Well, Nadine picks it up. That is NSS putting themselves on match point against Kazna crew, and our worst fear has become reality. 6-2.
Yeah, it is. This is such a deep hole. Kazna's pretty much done. It's
yeah, down and out.
I mean, it would be. I feel like I'd be lying
if
I
the ropes
said
and
there
they're
was.
being battered, Nate.
Yeah, it
just doesn't get any better. Like in the first Ruinberg, I'd say bad rotations, not quick enough, not realizing what their opponent is doing. In this one, yet once more, all the bad shots, every single one of them emptied their clip on towards Lostro, who was on a bad angle for them to pen him, which is already shots you don't really take. Because in a situation like on Ruinberg, you know most of the time you're not going to get to reload. If you have 3 shots, you have to keep them for a while or coordinate in between your guys, who's reloading, keeping shots, and then there's nobody spotting. And Coca-Cola and Nadine are just having a stroll across the A-line in towards those bad shots.
Yeah, and no one's stopping them. No one's pressing from the south. That's what I think should have happened. If Kazna had decided to follow up that west,
if there was one guy spotting, they would have all pushed up, and then they might have been able to shoot the A-line.
Yeah, and then maybe you've got the damage that Kazna stays
competitive. Though in his mouse.
4,900, almost 5K in the mouse. And he stayed in the middle of the map most of the time, just swinging his turret around, just shooting at whatever showed up, and plenty of targets were willing.
Mouse picks for NSS really paying off. Lostro didn't do a lot of damage, but he blocked more than 4K.
That's always nice.
He did like 1 shot of damage, but blocking 4K.
That's an entire. That's a tank exchange.
Actually, he was one of the most important ones because those bad shots emptied their clips on towards him.
Yeah. Think about it. If it doesn't immediately come to our viewers' minds, what 4,000 damage blocked means is that's another free mouse.
But in this case, you see Durs is not even reloading. He just comes off reload when they've lost 2 guys. Betso is the only one that gets to fire more than 1 shot, which is just not good enough from a team like Kazna crew.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. I really want to kind of maybe just say we're always really harsh on Kazna. We always set the bar very high because they're an experienced, long-standing team.
Because they're supposed to deliver at these kind of events.
Yep, but not so serious.
Is on another level. It's just...
Yeah, and we always get back to this too. Kazna's an incredibly talented team, and against other opponents, they look a lot better. But against NSS, who's so crisp.
But then again, you have to wonder, why is Kazna crew in this situation to begin with?
Because NSS, other opponents running around here, is just that good?
That and perhaps looking too far into the future. I think it's a combination of 2. EL Gaming showing up better than they've ever done before, I think. I'd say the levels on the Orbital Firmware were like different, to put it. They were better than any other event so far. They came up and played. Kazna didn't. This is where they are now, and NSS showed up. Kazna crew giving it their best, but NSS just showing that the amount of practice and hard work they put in towards this grand finals is paying off. And we might see it here in the last possible round, possibly the last round of regular time between NSS and Kazna crew. 6-2. What do you expect, Ruka?
All right, well, first I want to talk a little bit about the lineups. Looks like we got the 2 113s to pay attention to from Kazna, and a bunch of Bat Chats. On the other side, Bat Chat, TVP, and T49 in there, but it's all Bat Chat cells. And we've got a little west side from Kazna, so taking a little low ground. They left Stefan in the east side. What do you think of that? That solo Bat Chat?
He's trying to climb the hill, I'd say, but is he gonna make it? He already takes 2 shots from Beowulf, who's doing very well against him. Nadine needs to be careful in his Bat Chat, but Kazna bleeding across the place. I don't know if I like the Stefan play. He needs to get on towards that hill. Nice shot there though from Kaizu. Nice shot from Stefan on towards Coca-Cola. He's clipping him out. Can he kill him though? Nah. I don't think so. Stefan's on a 1-shot. Coca-Cola picks it up. And that is the ruin towards this tactic, I'd say. If he takes the hill, they can support him. But now, they have nothing. They have nothing.
They have 2 angles that exist. They don't have a whole lot of places to run. Even if they try, that gets them in a worse position.
I don't like this tactic, Rukil. It's all about that one bad shot making it up, which was Stefan, and he didn't.
Single point of failure, right? Everyone knows you never have just
one
that.
thing fails, everything else falls. It's just not something that's an acceptable tactic.
Yeah, at this level, you should have the backup ready to go. Yes, it's a risk, but it don't feel like this kind of strategy pays off well enough when the risk pays off.
Whoa! Lost towards Diplomat.
Insulted.
Insult to injury, Kazna crew. I feel like they're just driving into the guns now of NSS. They know it's over. Beowulf picks up a kill as well with 4 tanks left standing for Kazna crew. They're gonna be going home. They're not gonna be moving towards the semi-finals, but NSS showing everybody here at this event, they are a force to be reckoned with, and they're here to play.
Yeah, keep your eye on these guys. They could be one of our final teams. Absolutely on top for it right now. And with that, you can see it. Not so serious knows this is over.
Kazna knows it is over.
Yeah, but they're just freezing up right now. They're just like, guys, come on, finish it.
Finish it. They're just driving in. Now the boys from NSS pushing forward as well for the final kills. They want this. Durst picks up Losto. No going out without a fight. He is. But with 6 tanks remaining on the side of NSS, Just Cause goes down. Coca-Cola peeking on the top. Guys who's still on reload. And the rest of the tanks will be pushing in. Shotnik coming in there as well with full HP. Nidin from behind. Monty picks up a kill as well. NSS going to be closing this one out. Coca-Cola picks up his double kill. And Nidin, Coca-Cola actually to get the triple kill will be NSS picking it up 7-2. And Randall, we should not predict scores anymore.
Oh gosh, no. I feel so bad right now because that was just absolutely insane from NSS. Kazna didn't stand a chance. Not this Kazna, at least.
Nope, blow for blow in the beginning, but NSS always picking up their rounds, which is supposed to be more convincing every single time. And then Morovanka coming out, NSS just showing.
They'd worn
Kazna tilted on Moro.
Yeah, but you could also say that NSS just needed a little warm-up time, right? They just needed a little time to get used to things.
Being down, they recovered. Kazna showing that they were up on Morovanka on their attack. They had everything going for them. I really do think that it's a breaking point for this map where they tilted. That Moro, that round where Beowulf survives for no reason, everybody drives in, Haiba goes in too early, the 113s don't coordinate too well. Any last words, Randall?
My last words have to be, I think you hit the main point. Kazna was always up and they managed to drop the ball. NSS was down and managed to really rise above. It's wonderful to see NSS. My bet might be on them to go far here today.
Yeah,